Jingle bells, jingle bells. Oh, hey guys! I know you're probably wondering, what in the world is Dominique doing? Why does she have on a Santa hat? Why is she wearing a Christmas sweater? What's going on in that head of hers? Does she not have anything better to do with her time? Or is her hair in her eyes? Because it's definitely in my eyes. Wow, what is going on in this girl's mind today? Why is she dressed like Christmas? You're probably wondering, why is Christmas music playing on the radio on certain stations? It's made to uplift the spirit without being, the holidays. Well, it makes you feel like holiday time at the worst of times. Makes you think of the best of times. To make you smile, to make you laugh, think of being with family, think of receiving as well as giving. And I know you're like, why is this girl dressed like Christmas? Well, like I said earlier, I did have a bonus story for you guys today. And of course, it is from my favorite book, your favorite Seuss. And once I can get this hair out of my face, I'll be able to read for you. And don't think I'm crazy because I'm dressed like Christmas. You want to know why? Because this story is Christmas related. And a lot of you guys have seen the animated cartoon, the movie with Jim Carrey, and the new animated one that came out a couple of years ago or last year, whatever. It is How the Grinch Stole Christmas, my favorite Dr. Seuss story. And that was originally published in 1957. Unfortunately, due to copyright, can't have the music in the background, so just bear with me as I narrate the story. It's not too long, but it is fairly long. But like I said, this is a bonus story for you guys anyway, so you want to tune back in later and watch? By all means. All right, here we go. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right, or could it perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. Look at him. Crazy old Grinch. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, Grinchy frown at the warm, lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging the mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings. He snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, the noise, the noise, the noise. And that one thing that he hated was the noise, 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 noise. Bing, 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 boom, 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 boom. The Who's are celebrating. Woo! Woo-hoo, woo-hoo. I guess that's their cheer. So corny. Anyways, moving on. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, 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 feast. They would feast on hoop pudding and rare hoop roast beef, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. Look at that. That's a hoop party. Who would have thought? Who knew? All right, anyways. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. Joy to the Who's. Okay, I can't sing. Anyways. They'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why? For 53 years I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming, but how? Oh, that Grinch. Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick scenty suit, hat, and coat. And he chuckled and clucked, what a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. Ah, this little one here. Trouble, 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 trouble. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, then he took some red thread and tied a big horn on the top of his head. Anyways, then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on the ramshackle sled, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, get up! And the sleigh started down towards the houses where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. Sneaky old Grinch. Very, very sneaky, sneaky. And anywho, all their windows were dark. Quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care when he came to the first little house on the square. This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fists. Then he slid down the chimney. Ooh, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa can do it, then so could the Grinch. Hey, kind of smart thinking there, Mr. Grinch. Anyway, he got stuck only once, for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace, flew. Where the little Who stockings all hung in a row, these stockings, he grinned, are the first to go. Oh, yeah, he's being a thief. Who steals Christmas? Oh my gosh, the Grinch is the bad guy. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room, he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. and he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Woo! Slickster. Then he slunk to the ice box. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who's pudding. He took the roast beef. As quick as a flash, he cleaned out the ice box, while the Grinch even took the last can of Who Hatch. I wish somebody would come and raid my refrigerator. You ain't having that, Mr. Grinch. Anyways, then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee, and now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and started to shove, when he heard a small sound like a coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who. Little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who'd got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? Taking that? Little Cindy Lou Who was like, what's going on with you? You're taking my tree. Oh boy. But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. Why, my little sweet tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and I'll bring it back here. Anybody else understand and gonna believe him? Anyways, and his fib fooled the child. Oh. Then he patted her head. He got her drink and sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. All right, this Grinch is so tricky. But we all know that, right? It's like gossip on the street. Then the last thing he took was the log for the fire. What? Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls, he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left for them in the house was a crumb that was even small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's house, leaving crumbs much small for the other Who mouses. Just leaving crumbs. Oh, poor Who's. It was 1:15 dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrapping, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. Whew. Look at that. He took everything. You mean old Grinch. Moving right along. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, right? Of Mount Crumpet. He rode with his load to the tip top to dump it. Ooh. Pull, pull to the Who's. He was grinchiously humming. They'll find out now that no Christmas is coming. They'll just be waking up and know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two, then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, what? Boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I must simply hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the slope, started in the low, and then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why this sound merry? It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes, then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. He was listening in the distance and singing. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without presents at all. He didn't stop. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or another, it came just the same. Christmas time is here. Oh yeah, y'all know the song. I'm not gonna go to that. Anyways, and the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Merry Christmas, he thought. Does it come from a store? Maybe Christmas. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew what? 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whistled with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. The end. To those who are just tuning in or came in after my little intro, I know you guys are looking like, why is this girl dressed like Christmas Santa hat? Well, if anyone's seen my post from yesterday, there are radio stations playing Christmas music to get people through these tough times. And I figured I'd give you guys a bonus story time, and I just read How the Grinch Stole Christmas, so why not dress like Christmas? All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. Be safe. And, continue to do what you do. Follow regulations. If you're working in the field, be safe. If you're working from home, continue to do your best to keep this country going as well. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Sorry.